Hey guys, this is Mark Flores here, and today's topic, if Kenny Omega ever goes to WWE, these three things need to happen first. At the start of 2017, you and I both know that Kenny Omega faced off against Kazuchika Okada at Wrestle Kingdom 11. This match is hailed as one of the greatest matches of all time. Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer gave the match 6 stars, and it's the only 6-star match in New Japan Pro Wrestling's history. If you guys have not seen Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada, you have to watch that match immediately. I have to tell you. But back on to Kenny. Kenny Omega has this charisma, he has a look to him, and he has a moveset that only a few can rival. Kenny Omega, to me, would be a welcome asset to the WWE. But before any of these dream matches become a reality, before Kenny Omega to the WWE even becomes an idea, there's a few things that need to happen first. I'm Mark Flores with the Pay-Per-View Wrestling Podcast, and this is 3 things that need to happen first if Kenny Omega ever goes to the WWE. First, he will need to have a push similar to that of AJ Styles in 2016. And I know one thing we all can agree on, guys, is that AJ Styles' first year in the WWE was a very impressive one. The Office knew that with AJ Styles' age and his ability, they had to strike while the iron is hot. AJ Styles entering the WWE last year, starting with the Royal Rumble 2016, he was 38 years old. Same thing with Kenny Omega. With Kenny Omega, it shouldn't be any different. As of right now, Kenny Omega is 33 years old, and with his contract taking him up out till at least 35 or 36 years old, Kenny will need to be offered the same red carpet treatment as AJ Styles had in 2016. Now, with people in the Facebook group, geeksgamers.com, they had this idea that Kenny Omega would be better suited off first in NXT, similar to the same situation that Bobby Roode had. To me, that cannot happen. Bobby Roode in NXT is a little bit different than Kenny Omega going to NXT. With me, I think Kenny Omega has that upper star treatment similar to AJ Styles. Not saying that Bobby Roode doesn't have that privilege, but Kenny Omega with charisma, with his moveset, and with that attached to him, I think that gives him a little bit more leeway than with Bobby Roode. And Bobby Roode's NXT Championship run right now is one of the more impressive runs that NXT has had with that NXT title. I mean, you guys have to remember at one point, Seth Rollins, Bo Dallas, Sami Zayn had the title and were not even halfway to what Bobby Roode has made that title. Bobby Roode has made that title in NXT, but in Kenny Omega's case, Kenny Omega already has mainstream attention way more than what Bobby Roode has. Even adding all the TNA acclaim, etc. Remember, this isn't just a simple independent worker. His name is synonymous with the best in the business. He had a 6-star match in New Japan. Everyone amongst the wrestling world that is in the wrestling world does know about Kenny Omega. For WWE to capitalize on his marketability, doing steps similar to AJ's 2016 run isn't out of the question at all. And the second thing that needs to happen, and this is kind of a two-parter, but his name and his moveset shouldn't change at all. To some people, a name change is something of a godsend to professional wrestlers. Bob Holly was once named Sparky Plug. Rocky Maivia shortened his name to The Rock, and the rest is history. In Kenny Omega's case, his name must be left unchanged. There's only a handful of names like this in the business. Kenny Omega sounds dangerous and it sounds confrontational. That name is built to be presented amongst giant titantrons and to be named out in promos. WWE had a streak of success while keeping names, and I hope that they won't stop with his. And in the same case to his moveset, he needs to keep his moveset. Despite the fact that Killian Dane has the one-winged angel, and the fact that Seth Rollins has his V-trigger finisher as well, I think that he has to keep those moves as well. I mean, the one-winged angel is a very safe move to pull off. He's done it a repetitive amount of times. It looks dangerous in the beginning part of the setup, but as long as he has his hand cradled under his neck, his opponent's neck, he should be fine. And in respect to the V-trigger, he doesn't really necessarily need to keep that because Seth Rollins is essentially making it his finishing move. So I think that is the one that he can give up. But the one-winged angel, I know that Killian Dane does have it. I was really shocked to find out that he actually does have it, but it should be Kenny Omega's. With that being said, guys, I think that keeping your name is as important as keeping a little bit of your moveset. There's tons of stars like Apollo Crews and Cesaro and Dean Ambrose that were signed on mostly because of their intense moveset. If you guys ever look up Apollo Crews' moveset when he was UA Nation down in Dragon Gate, you guys will be thoroughly impressed. And same in regards to Dean Ambrose in CZW. But with that being said, this is going to lead me to my final thing that shouldn't change, and that needs to change actually, with Kenny Omega actually going to the WWE. The number one thing that I think is the most important, and this was actually amongst discussion at the Facebook group geeksgamers.com. Shout out to Sammy Ortiz for giving me the leeway to post this up once I get it going. But the number one thing that I have for Kenny Omega that's the most important, and I'll explain the reason as I go along, is that he has to have no affiliation with any faction once he debuts. Now, the surprise star showing up and joining a faction is always a good booking option. The number one go-to option there would be Hulk Hogan at Bash at the Beach 96 when he joined the NWO. But it's important for a star like Kenny Omega to have his own shine a couple of months into his debut. We already know what a good year run looks like. AJ Styles paved the way for people that came from other promotions. He's paved the way throughout WWE. But he didn't get it just because, though. I mean, he had great matches at Payback 2016, Elimination Chamber, the match at SummerSlam 2016 against John Cena, and the rematch at Royal Rumble 2017. So with that being said, there's a lot that goes into helping create a star within WWE. Not only do you just sign the guy, but the guy also has to perform on his end with great matches. Kenny has all the tools to be a top draw within the WWE, and the ultimate question is, will he show up? And my response is always simple to this. It's that money talks, guys. And no matter what opinion the person that potentially will sign to WWE says, once you offer him a contract that's financially impressive, a lot of people go for it. And I think that in this situation is no different. We all got teased at Royal Rumble 2017 at the possibility of Kenny Omega being signed once he was a free agent. But now, with this contract keeping him up for at least 2 years, we have to see, and we have to hope and wait and see if he ever gets signed to WWE. But more than likely, it's more of when he gets signed than if. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in to my countdown here on the Pay-Per-View Wrestling Podcast. I want to let you guys know. Be also on the lookout for this week's The Smart and a Mark, where we take a look at Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, and we also take a look at some news articles along the way of the world of professional wrestling. Once again, guys, this is Mark Flores with the top 3 countdown. If Kenny Omega gets signed to the WWE, these 3 things need to happen first. You guys have a good night.